undecided lands between water and land, but which up close reveal an ancient stage where life and death dance. To the same beat. Here silence breathes the tide, rises and falls like an ancient clock. The mud holds footprints that disappear in minutes. Motionless eyes watch beneath the surface, while flocks of birds streak across the sky in a hurry. In the heart of South America, the Pantanal spreads like a green ocean on the other side of the world. Australia's mangroves intertwine roots like a giant's fingers. In the United States, the Everglades guard liquid corridors between cypress trees, and in Africa, deltas. And lakes carve a mosaic of fragmented mirrors. In all these places, a secret has been repeated for millions of years, waiting. A razor-sharp patience, a strike that happens between the blink of an eye and the next. Alligators, crocodiles, and alligators are the guardians of this ancient pact. This is a journey through the pulse of the waters. Four worlds united by the same invisible law. Prepare to enter a place where time moves slowly and eyes never blink. Welcome to our documentary. Today we'll cross continents to understand how wetlands shape legendary predators and all the life that orbits them. Pantanal to the African delta of the Australian mangroves to the Everglades. We will see how water, mud, and silence write stories of survival that repeat themselves. At different rhythms, but with the same signature, the perfect ambush. Before we begin, leave us a comment. Which city are you watching from? It's always amazing to see how far our stories go. And if you enjoy cinematic narratives about nature and wildlife, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so you don't miss the upcoming premieres. Now silence the noise. Let's go in where every splash counts. The Pantanal is a lung of fresh water that expands and contracts with the rains. When the floods come, the fields become shallow seas. When the drought arrives, life is squeezed into pockets and every puddle becomes an arena. Alligator. He is the patient king of this empire. His eyes, too, amber lanterns, float like seeds in the mirror of the water, motionless, unforgettable. As capybaras, they trace ancient roots between islands of vegetation. Stingrays bury themselves in the fine sand. Herons wait living statues, calculating the distance between their beaks and their next meal. Above, a hawk flies low, observing everything. The Pantanal speaks without words, the swaying grass, the bubbling that betrays a misstep, the water that suddenly splits in two. The alligator's attack isn't pure speed, it's mathematics. First the angle, then thessalence. Finally the explosion, water and mud rise like a theater curtain, and the scene ends in a short, often discreet whirlpool. On the shores, life goes on as if nothing had happened. The king returns to stillness, and this is his crown. At night, the Pantanal changes its mask. Sounds condense, distances shrink, the moon's beacon traces silvery trails, and the alligators gain the upper hand. the greatest skill. Here isn't strength, it's economy. The predator that wins is the one that waits. A Pantanal rewards those who know their time and punishes those who try to rush ahead. In Australia's mangroves, the trees seem to walk. Their roots lift the soil, filter the salt, and create winding tunnels through which the sea flows in and out twice a day unhurriedly, azimuth-uti, and without fail. It's a labyrinth of liquid shadows, the perfect territory. Therefore, saltwater crocodile. He is an amphibious monarch. He knows the tide, like someone who knows the clock of his own heart. He knows when the fish rise, when the crabs expose themselves, when the birds descend tired to sleep. In the brackish water, he glides silently, a dark comma. Among branches and reflections, his jaws. Our verdicts they do not discuss. There they just close. Low tide reveals secrets, crab tracks, bird footprints. Trails of small mammals that dared to cross. High tide erases. Everything resets the board and offers the crocodile a daily chance to start over. Its strategy is simple and absolute. Appear after the world has thus forgotten about him. There is something imperial about this hunter who sails the river and the sea takes on challenges others avoid. Currents, waves, long coastal distances. He's not just a master of the ambush, he's a latitude strategist capable of transforming every shore, every cove into a room in his palace. And the palace has doors that slam with the tide. Us Everglades, the water is a continuous chord. The wind scratches the reeds and the cypresses, erect columns that resemble submerged temples. In this scenario, the alligator, he is the discreet, guardian of watery corridors that seem like invisible streets. He knows the right shortcut, the deepest well, the deceptive curve. At dawn, steam rises from the cold water like a veil. Turtles stretch on. Logs, grey herons land with the precision of exhausted dancers. Alligators warm up on the outside to accelerate. On the inside, digestion, movement, hunting. Hers everything responds to the sun. It's a biological clock sculpted in skin and scales. The alligator's strike is less theatrical than that of the sea crocodile. It is economic, almost accounting, an adjustment of a few centimeters, a calculated turn. And the prey's world disappears beneath the surface. The swamp becomes a mirror again. At night, the orchestra changes, croaks, crackles, a running animal. And sometimes severe snoring of an alligator echoes, a warning. This corridor has an owner. The Everglades don't just offer food, they offer refuges in dry seasons. Small basins sustain the life of amphibians, fish, and birds. Whoever finds water lasts longer, and the alligator knows this better than anyone. He guards the wells like safes, and his wealth is measured in liters. When the sky decides to rain, the safe overflows. And everything starts all over again. In Africa, wetlands take many forms. deltas that spread like fingers across the desert, lakes that breathe with the seasons, rivers that rise and fall as if they have their own tides. Wherever there is a boundary between mud and grass, Nile crocodile. Write your sentence. On the banks, antelopes and buffaloes, they come down to drink in a hurry because they know the water. And it is expensive. The scene is always a negotiation, drinking enough without becoming a statistic. The crocodile waits for the fraction of carelessness when a leg advances, too far when a hoof sinks too far. The attack is a snap that breaks the world into two, before and after. Perhaps no spectacle sums up this judgment as much as the great crossings. Hundreds, thousands of animals decide to cross a stretch of water agitated by currents. Can't fear. The crocodile doesn't need to run, it needs to choose. Select the victim who separated from the group, the tired young man, the adult who slipped, a twist, a brief whirlwind. And the story moves on, one life less, one lesson more. In the crocodile's homes, each child, it's a bet on the future, and the temperature of the world decides. To us, who is born female or male, it's proof of how water, sand and sun write the destiny of those first who haven't even opened their eyes. And it's also a reminder, the same heat you create can destroy. When drought strikes, the lakes retreat and the shores become pages. Turn 2. Quickly. Only those who understand time stay tuned. For the next chapter. Pantanal, Australia, Everglades, Africa. 4 landscapes. 4 sovereigns and the same grammar. In all these places, wait is a verb of action, not of inertia. The predator that wins is not the one who is in the most haste, it is the one who spends the least to gain the most. Nature rewards patience with precision. Wetlands teach economy. Energy that is not wasted, a tax. That are not improvised, paths that are not repeated without reason. They also teach memory of routes used for centuries by migratory birds of banks where chicks learn to disappear the second they appear. And there is a human lesson here. Places that seem empty are actually keep everything. They filter water, power cities, and dampen storms. They are practical treasures disguised as mystery. If we lose them,